What's up dudes, Max here, and we finally got a good look at all the new mechanics that are going to be added to Ultra Street Fighter 4. Now based off the few years you guys might have been on this channel or recent stuff, you might know my impressions of the game. Street Fighter 4 I appreciate what it's done for the community, for the industry, for fighting games, and I'm kind of one of those dudes that wants to see the most things change to Street Fighter 4 possible for an entirely new gameplay experience. Now, is the stuff that they announced recently, like the Red Focus and the 2 Ultras, enough? Well, let's take a look at them for a sec to find out. The first big one is having access to both of your Ultra attacks at the same time. This means if you're Ryu, you can use both your, Metsu Hadouken or the Shin Shoryuken within a single match. You don't have to make the decision early on which one you want to pick. Now, a lot of people are really concerned about this. However, within the video, we saw an example of Rufus using the double Ultra with one of his Ultras, and we saw the fact that it really did not do that much damage. We're talking like 20% damage. It was a very, very, very small amount, and if you combo into that stuff, it's going to be even less. But I think for the most part, double Ultras aren't going to change the way many other characters are used. I'm telling you right now, it ain't going to do very much for Ken, which is the guy I'm looking forward the most to playing. Now the second one is Red Focus, and these kind of mechanics, like the Red Focus mechanic, is kind of in tandem with double Ultras now. The reason being is that Red Focus will soak multiple attacks. Through the examples that Combo Fiend showed in the video, there's things where it eats like entire sequences of special moves, like an entire Shoryuken from Ken and stuff like that. However, it's susceptible to the same parameters in normal focuses. You can still break them with certain moves like hurricane kicks and stuff like that, and they will still build you ultra gauge meter as long as you keep soaking the damage. But seeing as it is a juiced up focus attack, it will actually eat your super gauge and will also leave you with a bunch of that white health that is recoverable, but has to be recovered over time. What I really wanted the Red Focus was to be something like a parry, but what it appears to be is like a different method of holding down your focus attack. It doesn't seem like you have to time the attacks at all. It just multiply soaks everything that comes at you for the cost of bar. So I'm going to take a huge guess that it's down and focus attack to engage the Red Focus. This looks like it's also going to become very much a defensive tactic. You can actually sit full screen, let somebody just throw multiple fireballs or whatever you want your way, and just build up your Ultra Gauge. This might benefit people who use the double Ultras, because it'll build up that Ultra Gauge so fast and leave you with so much freaking recoverable health that you'll have access to your Ultras immediately, leaving for situations where it's like, well, now they want to come at me and get me, so I know they're going to be jumping in, I know they're going to be doing different strategies, and I have access to both of my Ultras, so let's freaking go. This seems interesting, yes, but it's also another very defensive strategy, and we've heard Ayano talk many times about how they want to change the overall fundamentals of Street Fighter 4 to make it a much less defensive game, and potentially a game that doesn't reward people for extreme patience. Because most of the time in Street Fighter 4, the player that is not really doing anything is rewarded a lot of the time. This seems like it will change a lot of the dynamics of the game, but I don't think it's going to fundamentally change the overall of Street Fighter 4. The focus attack is very useful in SF4, but it's not nearly as widely used throughout of which it was when the game came out, and I think Red Focus is going to be a very situational thing. Double Ultras I think many people will take advantage of, but I don't think it's going to change the game to its core more than any other, because it only affects certain characters some ways. Now, this isn't the end. There was actually another tease that another system mechanic is on the horizon and has not been announced yet for Street Fighter 4, and Yoshinori Ono has recently come out saying that there's something else. There's a pretty big rumor that it is something known as delayed Wakeup. There's certain games already have this, like Capcom vs SNK2. You can quick get up in CVS2, you can quick get up in Street Fighter 4, but in Street Fighter 4 you can't delayed get up. That means that when you're knocked down, you can't hold down a few buttons and prevent your character from getting up. It actually adds like another second of you being on the ground, and this was a very big rumored mechanic. This will change some things like vortexes and things like that, because a lot of vortexes lead to things like nearly unblockable situations for a lot of characters. However, Combo Fiend recently said at the end of this video that unblockables are going to be almost entirely gone. Anyone that they found, they said they took out of the game, which is really, really awesome. But I still do have a glimmer of hope. I still do think that this final mechanic might not be a delayed wake-up, that it could be something very drastic, very game-changing, because at this point I feel that Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition 2012 in its current state is a really good fighting game. It's balanced to the core of which a lot of people would agree with. People are looking forward to the new changes in the new Ultra Street Fighter 4, but it is its own title, similar to how people like playing Hyper Fighting of Street Fighter 2 and Super Turbo of Street Fighter 2. I think that Ultra Street Fighter 4 should be considered a different game entirely. Still take some of the fundamentals of Street Fighter 4 and how Street Fighter is played, but kind of flips it on its head and introduces things like double ultras and red focus, and who knows, man, maybe something incredibly crazy like a parry mechanic. I can only hope so. A lot of people dislike parries. It's a mechanic that takes a very long time to get used to, but I just wish that Street Fighter 4 would evolve into something that could completely change the way the game is played. And I really hope that Red Focus does this. I really hope that Double Ultras manage to do this, but at this point in time, I don't think that they will. Let me know what you guys think about these new adjustments in the comments below and what has been confirmed for Ultra Street Fighter 4, and what would you like the final system mechanic to be? And are you in the same boat as me where you want to see a lot of stuff like change with Street Fighter 4? We have this really crazy version of Ultra SF4 where people can still play like AE 2012. That's what I kind of want to know the most, so your feedback's really important on this one, guys. Leave me a comment below. My name is Maximilian, and I'll see you next time.